Hey folks, Tom Busby here. There's a very high degree of risk involved in trading. I tell that to everyone. I tell people to do their own due diligence, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, in my opinion, a lot of people follow people in the market. Well, one of my tests has always been, do those people really put their own money on the line? My take was, unless they would have juice in the game, I didn't want to listen to it. And that was just a early rule I adopted as a new trader. I would share that with you and tell you that it's a good rule. Now, day trading the market, a lot about day trading the market. I used to tell people that you have to learn to day trade to swing trade and long-term trade. There's all phases of trading. And so a lot of hype out there about day trading the market. Now, somebody's been around as long as I have, I've seen all different types of traders. Now, skepticism. You should be skeptical when you hear things because a lot of people are pretty good at spinning the right story to get your money. And what you want to do is be skeptical. And so my test has always been, do they really trade or are they just talking a good game? Now, there's a lot of hype, a lot of noise out there, and it's hard for new people to distinguish between the two. So the simple test is, can they live trade in front of you? Now, that's the only true way, as far as I'm concerned, to evaluate a trader. Not looking at maybe what he had done or when he had done it, but watch him trade live. When you watch someone in a real market trade live, you get the true story. It doesn't get any purer than that. Now, my background, I've had 40 years plus in the markets. I've seen a lot, been part of a lot, and living and trading the markets these 40 years gives me a particular perspective. I've seen what works and what doesn't work. Now, years ago, I did a lot of trading for other brokerage firms, and even the exchanges came to me as a live trader. When I used to travel around and go to trade shows, a lot of people had a lot of money, and I used to say they had Star Wars for booths they would have, meeting the public and all that. And I said, how can I compete? The first time I did it was in Orlando, Florida, and we had a small room, but we had a line about a mile long to get in that small room. No one had ever seen anybody trade live in front of people. I believe in it. You can learn from the markets by going to the different exchanges. A good website is www.cmegroup.com. Now, it's not what the trader makes. If they show you, hey, I made this or made that, that's not what's important. It's what you can make and his ability or her ability to teach you what you need to know. Let's discuss the only method I know that works consistently and is repeatable by anyone who's willing to listen and learn. Years ago, I founded a company called DTI. We've been around a long time. And I had to have something that would work, that was simple, straightforward. And I call it the DTI Method. When I look at any ticker out there, I want to know where it opened the year at, where it opened the current month at, where it opened the week at, where it opened the day at, and then reference bars is a unique proprietary way of evaluation I created years ago to determine whether to be long, short, or out. The reference bars are set up based on the 24-hour market. They kick off every night when Asia kicks off between 6 and 6:30. 4:30 in the morning when Europe's going strong, I evaluate it, 4:30 to 5. Then when the U.S. market, most people in retail are able to trade between 7 and 7:30, that's a good time to, track that 30-minute period. RB3 is 9:30 to 10. That's the opening of the cash market. 11:30 to 12 is when Europe's closing, and that's the start of Genesis, I call it. 1:30 to 2 is RB4, And really it's when most of the markets are closed, and now we're looking out in California for direction. 3:30 to 4 is when you wrap up your day, and we call that the closing bell reference bars. But these are chronological, and they start on that 24-hour period, and they tell you a lot about the current trend. Chart reading. A lot of people spend years, and I did, learning about all these different patterns and all the different things, but I break it down to keep it simple. What I do is I take one of these reference bars, and then I look and see the bar after that. Does it go higher? Does it go lower? Or does it stay in between? Now, of course, the action I take is in agreement with that picture. And it's simple to follow, simple to learn, and keep you on the right side of the market. By the way, I use 30-minute charts. If I'm day trading, I think it's a great stable chart. It goes back in the history of the exchange, how I landed on 30 minutes. Now, we also have RBs incorporated in our world-renowned software called the Roadmap, where it organizes all this information that you need to be successful, puts it in one spot, and you drive that market by taking that data, analyze it, interpret it, and execute. That's the key, being able to do it in real time. Now, more questions to ask. We're above a pivot number. Well, what is a pivot number? Think of it this way. If you were looking at a market and you said, should I be long? A pivot number tells you where action above that number, and I like to use numbers, tell you to be long. Or if you're below that number, it tells you to be short. Another quick test to check the daily trend is, are you above the daily open? Well, that gets to be a little confusing. For futures, they open the night before. For stocks, they open at 9:30. So you got a little difference in times there depending on the vehicle you're using. And then, this is the important part. Where are they in relation to the prior reference bars that were created getting up to that time period? Remember, before you invest money, I challenge you to find someone that will trade live in front of you. When you see them trade live, then you'll get the confidence to know how they handle whatever the trend is, whether they going in or going out, and it really separates a lot of noise, a lot of hype from what we call the real deal. As I always say, see you on the flip side.